Oh,
Oh, really?
well,
Yeah.
And isn't it going to snow again on Thursday?
yeah, but they've been wrong every single time. Every single storm they've been wrong. So who knows? But it's raining now, and they say it's supposed to get warmer overnight. So it's okay with me.
Hi, everyone. Hope everyone's well.
What's up?
How you doing?
Good. How are you? How is
Good.
everyone?
Good.
All right, let's see. I'm not sure. Will, what's up? We got a few people. D, Marla, Janina, what up, what up? MZ, Ryan. Guys, welcome to our little lives as we do our little community chats and to talk about
Well.
feeling these days, right? How we feeling these days about, about all the meetings that we've had and a lot of political Boston.
My quality song with living rooms. Choose from a variety
Well,
of fabrics, including
you.
umbrella. All
How y'all feeling? Will, what's up? How you feeling? How you feeling?
I'm trying to get on. Can you hear me?
Yep, we hear you.
Okay. This is I can't see anything but Jim. Oh, okay.
Yeah, your camera. Yep, you gotta put the video.
I'm lost.
Now, when you tap on the screen, and then in the bottom left hand side, the second button, yeah, you gotta press that video so it could,
Boston's most accurate forecast.
Bam.
Hey,
Yes,
there
sir.
we go. We see you.
How's everyone doing?
Maintaining.
Can you hear me?
Yep, maintaining. We're maintaining.
How y'all feeling? So we've had all these meetings. I know more people are gonna end up coming in the room, but how y'all feeling? We've sat on many calls, many Zoom meetings. How do you guys feel now that we have all these changes? Marty leaving us.
Marty leaving
A
is
lot of candidates running for mayor. A lot of people pulling papers for both city at large and district council.
I think Marty leaving is a good thing. It's a blessing. And the reason I say that is because nothing was happening under him. He showed no interest in a problem. And I don't know who's going to be the mayor and if he or she is going to do better, but I don't know that they'll be doing worse. And I think we have an opportunity to maybe light a fire and maybe inspire someone to try to fix this. So that, but there's a lot of work to do, and in some ways we're almost starting from scratch, but I think to make it happen.
I agree with Andrew. I mean, I feel like for the last 8 years, what we've seen is a lot of building up of around the train stations with condos and different, market properties coming up as far as, I'm going to speak on the housing level. Condos coming up around the train stations. Everywhere there's a commuter station or a train station, South Boston, Jamaica Plain, Dudley Station, there's always a condo or something coming up, giving tax breaks to people who can afford to pay taxes, while we are here just trying to struggle and moving people that have been living in the city for so long out of the city. That's all I really know from him. It's just him building, allowing people to have tax breaks around the train stations and around people who can afford to live in the city, while with the people who have been living here for so long have been being kicked out and they have nowhere to go. So goodbye, thank you for nothing, and that's it. That's all I gotta say about him.
Hi everybody. Sorry I jumped on late. I was having some technical difficulties with my truck. So thanks for you guys joining us tonight. I'm just gonna listen in for a little bit while I settle myself down.
But okay, so one of the things that are interesting me, right? I'm interested in learning is that we have a lot of candidates now who served as city councilors that are now running for the mayor. How do you guys feel about that? How do you guys feel about them running? And the question is, what have they done in the past to address what we're experiencing? Have these individuals been vocal? What ways have they voted while having a city council seat? What have they done in their tenure of serving in the role that they have to now running for a mayoral race? Like, how do you guys feel about that?
Jahida.
Go ahead, Will. Go ahead. Go ahead, Will.
This is my biggest piss peeve of these people. Without mentioning names, now you got the Warner Brothers coming out of studio WBZ to join the mayor's race. When the mayor was there, and I'm speaking from personal experience, I never seen, while I was selling from Washington Street to Mass Ave, down Washington Street, up Molina Cass, up Tremont, up Columbus, down Mass Ave, and I got restraining orders to prove it. Where were these people at? Where were they in the mayor's face? You see, I've lost jobs. I've lost relationships. I lost friendship because I have no problem telling someone in their face. And this is my pet peeve with these people. All of a sudden, everyone wants to be a superhero. But if I can remember you correctly, was it August? You emailed certain these people before our protest. No one showed up. Now the mayor's gone. Now they can talk about him and not fear losing their little job at City Hall or their little chip on their shoulder, the little Commonwealth of Mass ID badge. Now everybody want to speak up. But from my experience from 2011, because due to Conley, D.A. Conley at the time, I was part of a bad influence in that neighborhood. I've not seen these so-called city councilors or city at large from district, whatever district they're in. I've never seen them. They raided us in 2011. I'm on a newspaper. Where were these city people at? Did they come out there with a broom and say, okay, we took the drug dealers out of Roxbury. Now let's clean up? Of course not. Now they want their time to shine. Well, I'm from Roxbury. I drive through here every day. I live in Dorchester. I'm in Roxbury, Mass. every day. I drive through there. I walk through there. And you never see these people. That's the whole thing I spoke to you last Sunday. Where are these people popping up from? And I have no problem telling Miss Janie or whatever she is, whatever her name is, Miss Roxbury. I have not seen her in 8 years in Roxbury. From my times of selling drugs in Roxbury to my time with you guys, I have not physically seen her. And she's from Roxbury? Yeah, we all from Roxbury. I went to school representing Roxbury doing the busing. Was she there? I don't think so. Larry, that's my pet peeve. They all want to be superheroes now, but they can't go sit out there and meet a 5-year-old girl, or your elderly mom, or an ex-con like me, or a football coach like Domingos, or a community activist like most of you young ladies and men in our group. What do you skip? We don't bite people. We humans. Now they want our votes. Now they want to talk to us. Take a hike, Jack. Not with me. I'll call you out.
Yeah, you're right though, because they've been. We keep saying it. It's been inconsistency. They've never been consistent in addressing this issue at all. And so,
The
now,
other day,
say that again?
I forgot which one was to took the walk, and there was a subject on the dispensary, the needle collection box. So I said, oh, they're all over the place. The other day, I drove from Cathedral to Clifford Park. I found 3 of them, or 4, Orchard School and Clifford Park. I did not see none over by Pine Street Inn. I didn't see none over by Cathedral Projects. I didn't see any close to Blackstone Park. I didn't see any close to the mile. The closest to the mile is Clifford Park. So I don't know how many boxes this lady seen, because I only found like 4 of them.
There's a box CVS on Hampton Street also.
That's the most recent one, I probably think. Because when I gave that young lady Narcan in the summertime, that box was not there.
I don't know when it went in. It's been around for a while, but it could have, maybe it was not there in the summer. I don't know.
There's some, but they're indoors too. There's one at Boston Healthcare for the Homeless, and there's one at the 112 Southampton Street shelter, but it's inside. They're not all like out on the street. And for what it's worth, there's 2 in Clifford Park.
Yeah, it's 2, right? And 2 at the school, Marla?
There's 2 in Clifford Park. Yeah, one right across from the school and one down the other end near the food pantry.
Yes, I've seen those. And I think there's 2 at the school. But, these are, they say they know about them, but to me, they are subjects that affect the community, and nobody's has really approached it now until it's time for them to have that little mayor's ID badge on them or whatever they want to call it. What they're going to do? Who are they going to sell us out? We had enough condo people. Ross took care of selling us out to the big union companies.
You're right too, Andy. Andy says they've been very consistent in pointing fingers. You're absolutely right. Because it's a prime example, right, Marla? When we had our recent meeting with Rollins, it's like my department handles this, my department handles that. These people do this people do that, and then it's like, so we got to call 10, 20 people just to get one answer, just one answer. Like that can't be equitable. Like, why do we have to go through multiple different departments for somebody to just simply say one thing? Like the image with the T. It's super dirty around the T. You say, you tag the T. Say, hey, do you guys mind cleaning up the bus stop over here on Molina Cass? And then they respond, oh no, that's the city's department. So I'm trying to understand the logic of city versus the MBTA. So then they pass the buck in hopes that somebody feels like they got to do the job, right? Meanwhile, you got people that are paying high MBTA fares to get to and from work, and a bus stop that's not clean, and yet, we as a community are always held responsible to pay our property taxes, pay our excise tax, pay all these bills and all these fees. But when we turn around and ask for simplicity of like, can I be at the bus stop and at least a clean bus stop? Is that okay? Let me refer you to the other department because we don't handle that here.
So there is one. I don't necessarily want to say I'm loving Andrea Campbell, but she did say a couple of things that I liked. The biggest one was putting one person in charge, one police in charge, and one public health person in charge, and not having all and a litany of stuff. And I don't know if she'll appoint the right people or if they'll have enough power, but that's a starting point, which is more than other people have done. And she's not even a counselor. I mean, we have own counselors, Kim Janey, Frank Baker, haven't really done that much, and there are counselors, and the at-large counselors are also our counselors, and they haven't done that much. So, my hope is that we were going to start to talk about, tomorrow, she's asking for feedback tomorrow. How can we ask the right questions, or what feedback do we want to provide? Because this is we can complain about this all night, and we have, but I'd rather try to figure out what we can do to move forward rather than complain.
Just to also add, Andrew, you're right, and let's be real. She's not our counselor, but she has gone out twice with us. She has literally taken that time, and she's consistent with the phone calls and checking in and the whole nine. And I'm gonna be real. I didn't know who she was until she asked to go out with us and walk around, and then next thing I know, she's going from there. But that same token, my head was leading in a different direction until I really sat down and conversated with her. We have to be diligent about being consistent about who we hold accountable and holding them accountable. And if we don't, again, you're right. We could sit here and complain about it all day long. But if we don't move forward and talk about what's next and what we're going to do, we're going to be 10 steps behind. And we're going to remain where we're at. Holding accountability is best. Holding accountability is what is going to get things done. I do have a problem with, not until we hold people accountable, things really don't get done. But if that's how we have to get things done, then so be it. We're going to hold people and we're going to call you out. That's how I feel about it,
I just wanted to add a little bit to what Andy was talking about, as far as where she said she'll assign an individual to deal with the area specifically from BPD. They already have someone assigned to that area, and his name is he's a super lieutenant named Michael Strong. He's been at the meetings. He's part of the task force. He sits on the task force, and it's like today when I drove by there, and there was 5 cruisers within a square block, just sitting there, spending countless city funds, while we have murders happening on the other side of the city, and they tell the community, like Bowdoin, Geneva, oh, we don't have the funds to keep a cruiser on that main strip all day. Funds to keep it on Mass and Cass all day. Not 5 cruisers. You've heard it for yourself. The DA says, I can't do nothing if the police don't do nothing. The police tells us they can't do nothing because the DA don't do nothing. So it falls back into your hands.
Pick up a case. I bet you together they'll do something. I'm proof.
Okay, well, I'm laughing at that because the other day I was like, you know what? I'm sorry, Mingos. I'm like, we should do a case study. Let's all do something and see we all get arrested and not prosecuted and, hold it to task. Like, seriously, like, I'm just laughing out loud. But, yeah, I'm like, I wonder if we all go and maybe steal from, what is it, Home Depot, Mingos, that have lost millions of dollars. Maybe we can go to Home Depot and walk out of there with a snowblower and, and get arrested because I could use a snowblower. And it seems like right in the South Bay is a perfect location to go get one for free $99 and not get locked up.
Thank you. Yeah, we can do that.
It just goes back to, though, the level of respect that they have for the constituents, for the people in the city. I'm with Andy. We need solutions, and a lot of the solutions that we come up with, and we've sent it to them. We've given them short-term solutions and long-term solutions, and people still don't want us to be vocal. You have people attacking us because we're putting things to context that 9 out of 10 people don't know. Even today, when I went down there, and I happened to be in the area, I was on my way to the dump to get rid of some construction debris. And as I'm pulling up, I'm like, what's going on? Why are all these cruisers like literally from when you turn in front of the fire station all the way down to Melina Cass by the Asian funeral home? There was a cruiser. There was literally a cruiser with 5 cruisers within a square block. So I get out. I go down Atkinson Street, and there's no tarp. No tarp. Sorry, guys, a call coming in. There was no tarp. These individuals were just standing in the middle of that comfort station, which is not comfortable. They put 2 metal containers there that look like offices for maybe staff members who are working the comfort station. We had a health commission cruiser, 2 of them, on top of the 5 Boston police. We had individuals all through that area. Some to me at the light, she's homeless. She has nowhere to go. They kicked her out of the comfort station. She wanders the streets all night because there's no beds for her. Then I speak to a family who loses everything in a fire on Saturday and says, we went down to Atkinson Street, but I'm not bringing my child down there for services when I got to go through all those to the service. And it goes back and it baffles me because you hear these individuals talk about, we're doing the best we can. Okay. Dakota, the minutes from the meetings that Marla asked for, and he came to find out that John Santiago never showed up. He's going to run for mayor. How dare you?
Well, wait. You gotta excuse him. He's part-time military, part-time doctor, soon to be part-time mayor.
Well, he's already part-time state rep, so you can only split yourself into so many parts. Pick one and do it right.
And that's another thing, right, Marla? Like, how do you have people in these positions? And let's be honest, and this is no shade to people, I just want to be clear because we get attacked about this all the time. And one of the things that I have to say that I take offense is that when we're having real conversations like this, the continuous, like, oh, you guys got to be careful. I wouldn't say this. I wouldn't say that. This is just a community-led dialogue to say there's inconsistencies here. What is the problem with us saying, hey, if you've been part-time, one, we're not saying that you're an awful individual. We're just trying to figure out if you're part-time, how can you address a public health crisis with a part-time, with part-time engagement? People are dying over there.
Well, how can you be a part-time ER doctor, a part-time state rep, and a part-time member of the task force? You can only divide yourself into so many parts before all of them start losing out.
And that's my point, though. That is my point. Everybody wants a piece of the pie, but you can't have a piece of the pie. You can't. I'm sorry. I have a bunch of things going on. Everybody wants a piece of the pie. I mean, and we're asking for a piece, and there's no room because everybody that's part-time wants to be part of it and then don't show up. There's a big disconnect. There when you have that, and you know what? The sad thing is a power struggle. It has nothing to do with you wanting to do right by your community. It's really that power struggle. Oh, I got power. I need to be a part of this. Come on, humble that a little bit. And it's sad. It's sad when you have people that just gotta be seen or gotta be involved, but not really be involved. And then who suffers? We do. We're not asking for that power. We're not asking for that power. We're just asking to be involved. And so when we got that back, I think I got so angry with it all. It's just so ridiculous. It's so
But
ridiculous.
it's not just John. It's Sheriff Steve Tompkins.
Absolutely.
He's part of that task force, and his attendance to those meetings are he's missed more meetings than he's been at. And I understand people have other obligations, I understand that people have other obligations, but again, for you to sit on a task force on something like this that it's so severe to the health and well-being of a city, a gateway city like people want to call it, it shows you again the greed for power. Because every time these individuals sits on a committee, right? Remember when Kim Janey showed up for 30 seconds, took pictures, and then ran away, and then came back and said, "Yeah, I was the reason why Orchard Garden was able to do A, B, and C."
And I think what really annoyed me about that part is that, like I said, then people want to put us on their flyers and their agendas that, oh, wow, we did this for Orchard Gardens. I call a spade a spade. Listen, I'm going to call you a spade. I will say it. If I ain't seen you once and I ain't seen you twice, I'm not going to say I've seen you. That's all to it. I'm not going to lie about it just to help your campaign out. I'm going to call. That's why I'm going to be honest, I always gave our girl a little bit of props because she always sent somebody and made sure that things were going right. So, and if I ain't seen you, I ain't seen you.
Paula's in the house. What's up, Paula?
What's up, you guys?
I'm with the. What up, Paula? But I'm with what Andy's saying about the solution, and I know it sounds like we complaining, Andy, but that is the solution. It's time to move people from the table and ask folks like yourself who actually are going to help drive the conversation. Because when you get a that has information on it, you're gonna process that information and come back to the next meeting and say, hey, look, this is what I noticed. Like you said to me, oh, Mingos, it surges the first week of April all the way to November. It's a surge, and then when the winter months come, I've noticed a dramatic drop in A, B, and C because you was able to analyze that with the information you got. These folks are sitting at the table, and it's like free coffee, free cookies. I get an hour to sit in the meeting and say I did attend, but I didn't attend. I was just there listening. Dr. Savina Martins has attended some of these meetings and to be a fly on the wall. And, I don't want to put words in her mouth, but she said it's counterproductive. Because it's a resume session. Hey, my name is Domingos De Rosa. My resume consists of A, B, and C. I sit on this board, this board, this board, this board, this board, this board. And then at the end of the day, you're cutting yourselves in 8, 9 different pieces, and you're not actually taking initiative to focus on one specific or maybe two specific things. Mass and cash is a live issue. We still haven't heard from Ricardo. We still haven't heard from Matt O'Malley. We still haven't heard from Lydia Edwards that we have countless overdoses in East Boston. These are folks that we reached out to just say, hey, what are you doing? How can we move the conversation? And they're unresponsive. That counselor, I believe her last name is McKenzie. Liz Mark from Brighton. And this is the issue. When you have 5 or 6 different counselors who sit on the council and they're not willing to have a conversation with a group like us or any other group to talk about this issue, and their escape is it's not my district. Call Kim Janey. Call Frank Baker. Talk to Liz Miranda. Talk to John Santiago. It's not in my district. And then we go back and we say, well, we spoke to all of them. Pass an ordinance.
But some of them names that you just called is not even showing up at that task force either. I'm sorry. Let's call a spade a spade. Some of them names that you just mentioned is not showing up at that task force. And so the unfortunate, and let's be real. I also want to change that narrative of calling it a complaining. That we're complaining. We're not complaining. We are just making it aware. We are expressing the truth. And if we don't express the truth, no one else is going to know about it. No one else is going to know what is going on. And so in order to get to one place, we got to hash out. My aunt used to always say, if you hold in things that you have that is bothering you, and you say, I'll deal with it later. And then you hold it in the next time and you go, I'll deal with it later. And then here comes that next issue and you hold it in. And you go, ooh, oh my gosh, I'll deal with it next time. That fourth, fifth, sixth time, you're going to explode, and you don't even know what you pissed at. So we just have to make sure that we are expressing this, and I wouldn't call it complaining. I just want to call it what it is, and that is expressing the truth. It's the truth when we call when we call people out and say, you haven't been there. You're not there. Where are you? You haven't reached out to us. We are people that live here. Why haven't we talked to half of you? Why haven't we been able to sit down when we've asked for this communication? Come on. And you're sitting on a task force that is servicing us, and you're not showing up. I also want to be clear, sending somebody in your place is not being there. You cannot send somebody in your place that is just taking notes.
Yeah, that's BS. Definitely.
Go ahead, Paula. Do your thing.
I just jumped in. I saw it on live, and Yahari sent me an invitation. So what I wanted to reiterate on, Nina, you're right. They shouldn't be sending reps. If you're on a task force, join the task force because it's people dying. The other thing, what Marla said about Santiago, and this might go for any of the other ones on the task force. If you are part-time in one position, part-time, like you can't be a part-time rep and a part-time soldier and a part-time, emergency room doctor, and then accept an invitation to go on a task force and do shit. Excuse my language, but we're all adults here. I mean, in the beginning of the pandemic, I thought he had some compassion, but the pandemic is bad enough, but the pandemic has hit mass and cast so much worse. Where's his compassion now? He's back. Isn't he back from wherever he was?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Yeah.
he is.
Yeah. So Marla, I'm saying in the comments, say that. Yeah, he should be part-time anything. Toss him off the task
He was
force.
on this morning at Fox 25. You're absolutely right. Absolutely. So can we just also say, it is not really a dig. I'm not digging at John or Liz Miranda or any of them. I'm just stating the fact. And then the only way, how can I say it without being, y'all know, let's keep it real, right? Let me just, you have to self-analyze yourself. If you can't do it, it's all right to say, I can't do it. It's all right to say, you know what, I dug too much into this. You guys, I got to fall back because I'm only hindering. Let me give up my seat to someone else that really wants to sit here. All them people that are not showing up in our place, they know we want to sit on that board.
Mm-hmm.
They know we want to give our input. So why don't you just give us that seat? And then we literally asked, what, a month ago?